welcome to the EmpowerHer series. I'm your host, Jessica Jane. This series is all about real women, real stories, and real growth. Our stories have power, and when we share them, we remind others that they're never alone. Get ready to be inspired. This is EmpowerHer.
So, hello, Lisa, and huge welcome to the second episode of Empower Her. I am super excited to have you on. I have had the pleasure of briefly getting to know you so far, and just with our brief chat, you have blown me away. You're such an inspiring woman. So, I'm really looking forward for you to really share your story because I just know how many women you're going to inspire and help with your story, your journey, and just the empowerment you've got behind that. So, for people that
Thank
obviously don't know you, let's just kind of give them a brief overview of yourself, your background, a little bit more about you before your diagnosis.
Okay, so before my diagnosis, I was a full-time teaching assistant. I worked 5 days a week, really busy job. Um, I enjoyed my job. I'm also a parent of two boys, one 5-year-old and one 11-year-old. Between work and being a parent of those two, life was extremely busy and hectic, as you can imagine, as most parents will agree to. Yeah, they've both got additional needs as well, so life could be challenging at times, but we work through them. And my boy is just my everything. So yeah, before my diagnosis of breast cancer last year, I also really loved my exercise. It was something that I did regularly. I love my walking, I love my running. I did dance and combat classes online, basically anything. I was helping a lot at school as well with like the sports side of it. I took them swimming and took them to sports competitions. So yeah, exercise and fitness has always been quite a high priority of mine as well. So yeah, we're also a forces family. So my husband's in the RAF. So we live at Waddington. So, but that does mean that we're obviously away from family support there in Gloucestershire. So again, that has its challenges, but we're resilient. We keep going, and yeah, we followed him around for quite a few years now. So yeah, we make a home of wherever we settle, and get on with life. Really, yeah.
Okay, so obviously you're a very busy woman in general, a busy mum, and obviously having that kind of life of being up on the go all the time, moving and things like that. So it's been very full on life, and obviously I would assume that with having your diagnosis, that had a huge impact. So obviously you was diagnosed with breast cancer last year, wasn't it? 2024.
Yes, July 2024.
Yeah, so just take us through that moment of your diagnosis, when you heard the diagnosis, how you felt, how you navigated that, and the journey you've been through since then.
So yeah, it was a massive shock. Come out of nowhere. I found a lump in the shower just simply by chance. I obviously went to get it checked out straight away at the doctors. They referred me to Lincoln Breast Clinic. So already I was kind of alarm bells were ringing. There's something they're not happy with, and I think even at that moment knew there was something wrong. I must admit I was terrified about the thought of going to the clinic. My mum came with me. I had a scan there, a mammogram. I've never had one before. Obviously, I'm not at the age to get them yet. So that was all brand new. And then after that, they were like, okay, we need to do some biopsies. So I was once again sort of taken aback, going, oh gosh, that doesn't sound like it's a good thing. They want to do extra tests. So they did all that. And then I had to go into a room with my mum, and in walked two people rather than just the one person who was taught to me originally. So I think at that point I knew, right, something's not going to be good here. They told me there and then that it was highly likely that it was breast cancer, but they needed to get the results. So I had a very difficult then 2 week wait, um, waiting on results. I knew at that point that it was definitely going to be breast cancer. I don't know why. I just sensed it. I'm not a pessimistic person, but I'm a realistic person. And they were telling me that was likely, so I took that as it is. My mum did remain very optimistic, possibly a little too much. Because I was like, "Mum, come on, like, we need to be realistic here. That like they're gonna say what I think they're going to say." But yeah, after 2 weeks, the results came back, and it was confirmed I had stage 3 invasive ductal carcinoma, and it was HER2 positive and hormone negative. Basically, it was quite an aggressive type of breast cancer. It was very good that I caught it early. But they did tell me there and then that it was treatable. It was curable. The treatment plan they had planned was to cure me. So I internalized that, and really just try to remain strong to that idea that things were going to be hard for the next year or so throughout all this treatment, but eventually I was going to be okay, and life was going to settle back into where I was before almost. So yeah, I was shocked, I was terrified, all those feelings, but trying to remain positive about the outlook of life going forward.
Mm. Um, I can really kind of resonate with that feeling of the waiting. So a few years ago now, I actually had a breast cancer scare. It did come back that it was benign, but I literally went through what you've just said, where they found the lump, they took me into a separate room, and they was like, "You're gonna probably want your family to come in with this." And my boyfriend at the time, my mum came in. So I already knew they found the lump. Once they had said that, my heart just sunk. And he basically put me in touch with the Macmillan nurses. He was adamant that it was breast cancer. But I had that waiting time now of getting the biopsy and the results back. And that waiting time is terrifying. That not knowing is just an awful space to be in. So I can really understand the toughness of that feeling of not knowing.
Yeah.
Although I went into a bit of an opposite. It was my mum having the complete meltdown, and I was like, "It's fine. It's going to be fine." Because I wanted to make sure everybody else was okay.
Yeah, and I went through a state like that those 2 weeks. I didn't speak to very many people about it either. Not work, didn't know. None of my friends knew anything. You didn't want to share at that point because you don't know, do you?
No.
But yeah, only me and my mum and my husband knew at that point. So yeah, it was a scary long wait and quite a lonely, lonely 2 week wait for sure.
And so with your treatment, what treatment have you had
Yes.
so far?
So I was told I had to have 6 rounds of chemotherapy to shrink the tumor because it was quite big. And so they didn't want to operate straight away. They wanted to give it a chance to shrink, and attack the HER2 receptors. Basically, they are something that makes cancer cells grow quicker. So they wanted to attack that with an injection called Phesgo as well. So alongside 6 rounds of chemo, I was to have these injections. They were 3 weekly. So I did all that. That was up and down chemotherapy, I would describe it as. The first round was horrible. You didn't know your body didn't know what was going on. Basically, as I say, before all this happened, very healthy, very fit. Never had to take any medicines really. Nothing really wrong. So I think my body kind of went into, what are you giving me here? It's a poison. It's going to do some strange things to the rest of your body. But yeah, the first round was horrible. I felt sick, horrible toileting issues, indigestion, taste went, all those horrible things. Second round, third round were okay, but by the second round, my hair was starting to fall out. That was, I didn't think it was going to be as big a deal as it was, but it was a massive deal to me at the end. I had my hair cut short before chemo started to sort of take a bit of control there. And I got used to that haircut, which because I had really long hair before. And then it started to fall out in clumps, and it was just making me so sad and down, and it was making the whole thing worse. And I thought, right, I'm going to take this control back here. So I ended up getting it all shaved off. It was scary, but I felt so much better afterwards. I think that was the hardest point for my son. So I didn't say, but telling him was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, because I lost my dad and I lost my father-in-law, and he to cancer, both of them, and he attended both of those funerals. So he was already that negative attitude around the cancer word.
Yeah.
So I had to try and remain as positive as I could about everything as I went through all this. But yeah, the losing the hair bit was the hardest bit for him, because he had to sort of look at me and go, "Oh, hang on, I'm not so sure." And he was actually said to me, he was sad for me. He said, "It's not fair that you have to lose your hair, mummy. It's not fair." But I tried to say to him that it made me feel better getting rid of it and knowing that it will grow back eventually. Things won't stay like this forever. So yeah, I was like that, and then I did all of that, and then I had surgery. So I wasn't sure what the surgery was supposed to look like. Um, it was either going to be a full mastectomy or a lumpectomy. It really depended on how well the chemo did. I was told it was very effective. It shrunk the tumor massively. So actually, I had a lumpectomy, which was obviously less invasive. Um, they took some lymph nodes out at the same time, and there was nothing in them, no cancer spread. So that was really good news. So I had all that, recovered from surgery, and then I had 2 weeks of radiotherapy. But before the radiotherapy started, I had results back from the lump they took out, and unfortunately, there were some quite aggressive cancer cells remaining in the tumor they removed, which meant that some of the chemo didn't actually work as well as it could have done. So they decided to give me a whole load more treatment, 9 months to be precise, 12 more rounds of a targeted chemotherapy. It's what most people would probably know as immunotherapy. It's just slightly worded slightly differently because it's IV given. Um, I must admit that was a really low point for me. I kind of assumed after chemo, surgery, and radio, I was going to be done and I could sort of move forward. But 9 months sounds a really long time. It did definitely sound a really long time back then, and yeah, I was a really low point for me. I wasn't sure if I could really handle any more treatment, if I'm honest, mentally as well as physically. I was like, I just want my life back now. This is really annoying rather than anything else. But I knew why they were giving it me. They were giving me the best chance of it not returning, because it was an aggressive type. And I thought, well, I've got no choice here. Just got to get on with it again. Do what I need to do to get myself back to who I was or what I was doing before, and do it for my family and for me. So that's what I did, and I am very close to finishing now. I did 11 rounds yesterday. That was my 11th round, and I've got one more round on the 3rd of November, and that is me done with treatment. So yes, it's a mixture of emotions right now, but yeah, relieved that bit is finished. Yeah, and I can start moving forward a little bit now.
So it is a long journey to go through, isn't it? And the impact it has on your overall health and well
Yeah,
anyway in your life. So
absolutely. My heart's been monitored, my liver's been monitored. Yeah, my other organs are not really liking the treatment. So yeah, it's been a long process and it's affected a lot of things, like you said.
yes, yeah, definitely. What do you feel helped you stay strong through such an intense time?
Um, I found that just trying to take control somewhere was what I needed to do. As I say, I love my walking. I loved my exercise before all this happened, and I thought that is something I really, really desperately want to hold on to. I want to show that this isn't going to change who I am. I can still get out for a walk, even if it's just 10 minutes. And so I just set my mind on that, really. And then I found in my second round of chemo, there was a person coming around talking about a group called Fighting Fit in Lincoln, and it was for cancer patients, and it was a support group, but also a fitness class. So my ears started sort of twitching and going, oh, fitness class, when when he mentioned it. And so I rang Phil Watson, who's in charge of the program at Lincoln City Foundation, and spoke to him, and it sounded like ideal. So I went along to the class, and I felt right at home, to be honest, straight away. Everyone was so welcoming. Everyone was in the same boat. Everyone was going through treatment or has been going through treatment or has family who has been. So they had so much advice. They were smiling. They were still being active. And I realized at that point that I could still be active and I could still do these things. So that spurred me on even more, really. So I thought, well, that's fine. I'll keep on my exercise then, and I'll keep my walking going. I've got this support group, I've got people I can talk to if I need to, but I've got this, this is okay. And I actually did a few challenges even through chemo. I walked 100 miles in November for the Royal British Legion. Yeah, I kept on doing what I do as much as I could anyway. There was obviously moments where I couldn't, and I think that was important to realize as well, that actually you need to do listen to your body, even though I'm not always brilliant at it. When the body's telling you need to rest, you actually do rest. But yeah, so support from other people going through the same thing, talking to my family, obviously. As I say, my mum was the kind of the worrier, bless her. She was always there for me. My husband was a more realistic and just getting on with stuff kind of person, and that equally helped. So having the right people around you, having the support from others going through the same, and my exercise are the one of the things that kept me going. Obviously having my children to focus on too, and making sure that life remained as stable and as similar to what it was before for them. That was also really important to me. So really the cancer side of things kind of just took a bit of a back burner in a way. I was like, right, I'm focusing on each round, tick, 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 then surgery, then radio, then this. And it was just like, right, let's keep going, keep going, keep going. I think that's what I just did. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, like you explained earlier, fitness has always been a big part of your life anyway. So that must have been lovely to be able to feel like you could come to that, and especially with finding that support group and community as well for that support. But that's just amazing that you have going through such an intense thing and the impact that has on your body to still keep up with the fitness and do things like the walk you've done. You've also mentioned to me that you did the half marathon recently in Lincoln.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that as well.
Oh, so yeah, that was a bit of a journey. So I took on the Lincoln 10K in April for the foundation. They had some charity places. I decided not to take a charity place at that point. I just went and did it for myself. I proved then that I could still run. So basically, after surgery, obviously you have to give yourself recovery time. But then as soon as I was allowed to run, I did. I got back out, realized, okay, I can run still. This is okay. I did my 10K, realized I achieved really well at that, and then charity places started coming available through the Lincoln City Foundation for the half marathon, and I thought, why not? Why not? Let's do this. So I applied for it. I then did a whole few months of training for it, and I really enjoyed it, to be fair. I was still quite daunted by the distance. Didn't think I had that sort of distance in me, really. As I say, I'm still technically going through treatment, so I wasn't 100% sure I could do it, but I've got enough grit in me, and having done challenges before, to know that I could if I'd really set my mind to it.
Mhm.
So that's what I did. On the 5th of October, I actually managed to run the Lincoln Half Marathon with a PB. I don't know how I even managed that now. I did the last half marathon 8 years ago, and I got a PB of 2 hours and 11 minutes this time round, and it was 2.5 hours 8 years ago. So I'm very chuffed with that. But more so, I did a lot of fundraising for it, for the Lincoln City Foundation, and I've raised £1,010 for them by doing the run. So
Amazing.
to be able to give back like that, it's been quite an amazing journey, really. And it doesn't stop there. My journey is continuing. As I was training for the half marathon, they mentioned to me that they had a charity place going for the London Marathon next year, and there was only one place available, but they said, please apply. You're the perfect person to represent what we stand for. I was quite taken aback by that. I thought, well, okay. I applied and I got it. So I've got another load more fundraising to do, which I'm really excited about. A lot more running and training to do. But yeah, so that's next April now. So I've got all that to look forward to as well. But yeah, from the half marathon, I had an interview with the telly. I had a radio interview. It's really surprised me, really, how just by running and going through what I've been through is having an impact on people. It's never really been like, the whole thing hasn't really been about impressing anybody, really. or doing anything out of the ordinary. I just wanted to be me and just do what I enjoy. And that's what I've achieved, I think. That's what I'll just keep doing. It's amazing that it affects people, but that wasn't my intention.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing as well with you being so authentic around everything and just doing you and getting your mindset right to get through such a hard time. It's how you're inspiring people and showing up is by showing people that you can keep going. It's not the end. You get your mindset right and don't give up on yourself. And that's what people need to hear and see. And I think that's what so inspired me about your story and wanting you to come on Empower Her, because I feel like there's so many people that going through similar diagnoses like this or any kind of health issue really, it can really obviously hit people and bring them down and people give up on themselves. So it's just lovely to see and watch you go through this and all the inspiring work you've done around it and raising the money for the charities as well for that support. It will just help so many people more than you ever realize. So that's just amazing. And I know as well, so um with one thing you mentioned to me when we last spoke was, and I loved that you said this, and again, it just shows your mindset and your willpower and your resilience, was there's so much that cancer took from you, but there's so much that you've gained from it, and you focused on what you've gained from it. And one of those things being as well with your fitness side of things, how this has now took you into a whole nother journey for your career and life and going into a whole new path for yourself, which is super exciting. So just share a little about that as well.
Yeah, so yeah, I always, as I say, throughout the whole thing, try to focus on the positives of everything. And my mum, I think, said to me, something positive's got to come out of this whole thing, and try and hold on to that thought if you can. And I said, okay, you know. But actually, I stuck with that thought and gone, no, something positive is going to come out of it. And I've learned something about myself, that I learned that I'm actually stronger than I thought I was.
Mm.
Um, I'm definitely determined and I'm strong, and I've learned all those things. But I've learned that fitness is really important to me, and working with people going through similar things is also going to be really important to me going forward. I've actually quite liked talking to people going through similar things and like giving odd bits of advice and taking advice from other people. I know how much that helped me. So I want to make sure that continues going forward. I've embarked on doing a fitness qualification, and I don't know where that's going to take me yet, but I'm doing it for the reasons of what I've said. Really, that fitness and helping other people means a lot to me, and yeah, I want to keep impacting that as we go through the rest of my life. Really, I want the rest of my life to have a meaning as well. I think you take some things for granted, and I will never ever take for granted even the smallest things like going for a walk ever again. And yeah, I want that to sort of take me through the rest of my life really, and enjoy it and have a focus. And yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that it's brought that new path for you and that new journey, and I'm looking forward to seeing it unfold well. Um, Anyone listening, I do keep freezing. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
As long as you can still hear me, that's fine. So for anybody listening that might be going through a similar struggle, similar diagnosis, and they're feeling scared, isolated, not sure kind of with this news,
Yeah.
what would you say to them?
I mean, I think allow yourself to feel would be the first bit of advice, no matter what it is. I'm always quite afraid of opening up, I think, and allowing yourself to get upset in front of people, or to feel angry or feel whatever you need to feel. But feeling all those emotions is really important, and it's part of the process. I remember feeling every emotion going throughout this whole thing, and I still am feeling all those emotions. So allow yourself to feel. Don't be too hard on yourself, but don't hide away. Just don't lock yourself in a room. Stay at home. Keep away from people because of fear of, like I had a fear of sort of letting people down, or making them making a burden or of themselves. Um, yeah, it's tough. I would say that you need to just be kind to yourself and get out, speak to people, don't stay alone. Find the people around you that are your people, the ones that you can rely on, the ones that are going to be there throughout the whole thing. Stay positive, focus on what you need to do to heal, whether that be walking, whether that be running, whether that be biking, whether that be just reading a book, listening to music, singing, whatever. Just focus on trying to stay true to you, and take control where you can take it, I think. And yeah, just that positive mindset, and looking forward, rather than staying still and looking back as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's a huge thing, isn't it? One, the mindset side of things, and I do mindset and the positive thinking and putting that spin on something that is a negative and negative in certain things.
Yeah.
Like you do have to feel things, you do have to go through those emotions. But I think it's when we stop and you give up,
Yeah.
point where things really take a turn. So just how you've managed to stay in that kind of mindset as well and keep going. And obviously, it's great that you found these communities and the health and fitness side of things, really keeping you going. So, yeah, all those tips are absolutely brilliant. So, what I would like to ask you though is with regards to, you mentioned obviously about being a mum and how you had to speak to your little one about your diagnosis and how you kind of went around that. What kind of advice would you give to especially mums, because I know mums in general do get that kind of guilt feeling
Yeah.
around their children, and it must be such a hard space to navigate as well with giving such news. So is there any tips you would give around that?
I mean, yeah, we all suffer elements of mum guilt. I suffer it on a daily basis. Am I doing enough? Am I good enough? Am I providing my children with what they need? Are they happy? All those sort of things. Receiving a life-changing diagnosis was tough on the whole family, and I knew it was going to be. But just say remaining positive with your children. I think I was just really honest with my eldest. My youngest, to be quite honest with you, I still think even now he's not really 100% sure what's happening or what has happened. He just sees me as mummy, and that's it. So although I've talked about it in front of him, I wouldn't say I sat down and talked to him about it. But the eldest, I definitely did. Say he's autistic as well, so he likes things. He likes to know what's going on and what's going to happen. So I was honest with him right from the beginning. I told him exactly what it was. We talked through the treatment plan and what it would look like. I said to him that mummy might feel sad. She might be a bit unwell, but I will still be there for you. I'll still still be mum, and you can still talk to me. We can still do homework. We can still go to the park, and try and sort of spin it like things are going to change, but they're going to be okay. It's harder. I think it would be harder if I didn't know that it was going to be okay. But that the conversation came easier when I was honest with him. And from he just honestly he smashed his year at school. He was in year 6 at the time, and I was really concerned that it would have a massive impact on everything, being his last year at primary. But he shocked me, his resilience and his grit, throughout the whole thing. And my mum said to me, it was you who did that. He looked up to you throughout the whole year, for sort of stability, for someone to look up to, I guess. And I said, no, he's amazing. And he's my boy. And he said, yeah, but he's yours. So yeah, I think just be honest with your children and don't be afraid of letting them join the journey with you. I think I was concerned about that to start with. I didn't want to overshare. I didn't want to let him see me at my low moments, I think. But I'm glad I did, because we'd got through it together, actually. And we were a strong family before. But I think people have seen that we're a very strong family now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's so powerful in when you do come together and support each other in that way. And you've got that resilience I'm sure he was also looking up to you and seeing how strong you were through that journey as well, which would have inspired him, and also giving him that reassurance of everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that, and I just love how you have come together as a family. And I think so many mums do have that mum guilt. They have that feeling of also feeling like they still need to put everybody else first and their children first, where actually it's okay to put
Mm.
yourself first as well. And I think, especially
Yeah.
in a journey like this, you really need to focus on yourself too.
Yeah, I learned to prioritize myself a lot more throughout this whole journey. It made me realize that I didn't prioritize myself enough before. And as I say, the exercise thing was something for me. It was my way of dealing with a lot of stuff. And sometimes I think I need to go for a run now. When you're a parent and you kind of go, I need to go out, I need to do something, and that is actually really important to for every mum. I think we don't prioritize ourselves enough. As you say, you're so busy trying to please everybody else that you forget to please yourself most of the time. And I learned that, yeah, even though life can be busy, it can be chaotic, it can throw curveballs like this cancer diagnosis did. But at the end of the day, you can't be there for everybody else
Hmm.
if you're not there for yourself. And no matter what it is that makes you get through the daily stuff, do it and make sure you do it regularly. And I think other people appreciate you for it then, and then you have more of yourself to give. And I completely agree with you that the feeling of guilt and the feeling of you have to be that person for everybody is tough going all the time. But
Hmm.
as you say, you do need to prioritize you as
Yeah,
well.
yes, definitely. What do you hope women feel when they hear your story?
Um, I hope they'll sort of stick to who they are as well. You know, as I say, I've tried not to change or let the cancer diagnosis change me as a person,
Mm.
and in fact, it's made me stronger. Uh, so I think just stay true to who they are. I hope they feel brave enough if they ever have to come across a life-changing thing like this, that they can tackle it and do what they do. They just by being them, they can achieve whatever they want to achieve. I've achieved things that I just didn't think was possible,
Yeah.
and I'm hopefully going to continue to do that. And as I say, it set me on this whole new life plan, and I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm excited. And yeah, I think just do what's important to them and be true to themselves. I think is probably the most advice I can give, and just do what makes them happy.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's a huge thing, isn't it? Is to not let any circumstance define you, really. Um, and I just love that you always find that such turning points in life bring
Yeah.
you a new journey and new things ahead. And it's amazing that you've managed to find something that aligns with you so well with the fitness side of stuff as well and the support and
Mhm.
everything that you're doing around it too. So I'm also very excited to see that journey unravel for you and follow that journey. So I know that you're just going to keep on thriving and thriving after this. Um, so the question I always end with on Empower Her is, what does empowerment mean to you?
hmm Um, well, I've mentioned strength. I think it definitely involves that. Becoming stronger, becoming braver, becoming more determined, becoming more resilient, just to, take control of something, to remain true to yourself. I think that's what empowerment means. I think just being authentically you, and doing it the best you can. I think that was what I've taken from that word.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. So, what I will just end with, so people can connect with you. If people want to connect with you, follow your story, your journey, even maybe
Yeah.
find out a little bit more about the support groups and communities you've been a part of, or even get involved with the charity raising, um, where can they find you?
I'm on Facebook. That's about the only social media platform I use.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so Lisa Lear. If you search me, hopefully you'll come up. I've actually got a marathon runners page as well, Lisa Lear's London Marathon Journey 2026. That's got a lot of my story on it, and yeah, like prior to cancer and after that as well, and sort of the reasons why I'm running for the foundation specifically. It mentions Fighting Fit on there. So yeah, quite a few things on there. Obviously, my fundraising pages are on there as well. If people are inspired to sponsor me, it would be amazing. But yeah, that's about the only place you'll find me. But apparently, if you Google me now, things come up, which was discovered on the BBC Radio Lincolnshire interview I had. He searched my name, and my fundraising page came up, and something about Fighting Fit and all sorts. So yeah, it's amazing what you can find.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, what I'll do as well is when this episode goes out, we'll tag where people can find you, where people can donate and things like that if they wish to. Because I'm sure, like I say, you are going to be, and you already are, such an inspiration to so many people. And people going through similar circumstances like this will take so much from it. So I'm just super excited now to follow your journey, keep seeing you thrive and the impact you're having in the work you're doing. So good luck with everything. I know you're going to smash it in the next journey of your life. So yeah, we'll speak soon.
So much for speaking to me.
Thank you for being on EmpowerHer, Lisa. It's been a pleasure to have you and get to know you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.